Antonio. How you feeling? Welcome to the Thomas J. Henry SpaceCon San Antonio Day 2. Who's had a good time today? You know I love hearing that. If you haven't met me before, my name is Ted Olunga. I'm part of the Countdown City Geeks media team here in San Antonio. We are giving away a ton of stuff all weekend long. If you look for Baby Yoda that's flying high in the sky, we have raffles for exclusive giveaways, and we're also giving away a handful of lightsabers, so you don't want to miss that, right? All right, so we have a very important person who's with us today. So here's what I've written so far. Ladies and gentlemen, heroes and villains, welcome to one of the most anticipated panels of the weekend. Whether you first saw them defuse bombs in a helicopter, chase down rogue agents in Mission Impossible, or wield a bow with deadly precision in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, today's guest has proven time and again that he's not just an action star, he is a powerhouse of grit, heart, and range. He's here with us today. Get on your feet and make some noise for Jeremy Renner! Keep it going, keep it going. Is this bothering you? Whatever Hawkeye wants, Hawkeye gets.
He can move the tape around.
No, that's all right.
We are thrilled you are here with us today. Can't wait to get into some of these topics that we're going to talk about, your work, your work in philanthropy, anything else that you've been doing. But first, please let everybody know how much you enjoy your time here in San Antonio.
Yeah, it's good to be here, man. It's always, I love these things just to engage with real fans and people that really have something in common. It's always a great treat for me. So you guys have been so great so far. Everybody's been very kind. So I appreciate sharing your time and talking to me. Now I gotta see some of my friends. I don't know if you see my friends. The problem is, when you're an adventure. All your Avenger friends are just as busy as you are, so you never get to see them. But we got a few of them here today, so we're very excited. Elizabeth, Paul. It's so cool to hear the screen. I haven't seen them since the incident, or accident, whatever you want to call it. But so it's been a minute, so it's nice to see my friends.
You also need to reunite with Clark's here as well.
What happened?
You need to reunite with Clark.
Oh my God. And you guys come in.
You let them know. I'm going to go see Clark as soon as we're
I'm not walking the floor at a Comic-Con.
All right, we got a ton of things we need to talk about. So first of all, I'm going to be a little bit selfish here and talk about one of my favorite projects here is 28 Weeks Later. Any fans? Let's go back. I'm a huge zombie fan, and I love 28 Weeks Later. This story was so unique because the military was just as dangerous, or more so than the affected in that movie. What are some of your fondest memories working on that project?
That's a great franchise, right? I love that. That's my first sort of foray into I guess horror, if you will. But I like it's pretty, very highbrow sort of storytelling, very realistic in this narrative. My favorite memories are like Harold Perrigo and I became very good friends, and my families have been really close since then. It was a long time ago, like 2006, I think 7 when we shot it. But yeah, it's like, I got to shoot that in London, and we'll kill zombies for a living. That's awesome.
I wouldn't want to see you do it again sometime.
Well, it's got to be can't be that character, right? Not to spoil it, but it's, the movie's been around a while. If you haven't seen it right now, I die in it, okay? in a very fiery way.
A heroic way. Any other fans around here?
It's not a spoiler, but just as it's gone by, you're going to see it. I can't spoil it for you.
All right, a lot of folks here want to talk about the Hurt Locker. Any fans? The Hurt Locker seemed like a big turning point in your career. It earned you your first Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
What was the psychological toll in having a soldier addicted to sort of chaos of war? And you describe yourself how you prepared to tell such an authentic story for individuals stationed in conflict in the Middle East.
Yeah, that was a big learning curve for me. I spent a year and a half or so at Fort Irwin. They called it Santa's workshop. It's where you build bombs and then you go safe. There's 2 lines, and these guys are building them, and these people over here at this side of the alley, kind of like horse stalls, you know, and they're committing all the bombs safe. It was an interesting, great gift, really, to kind of be welcomed into someone's job. And the job happens to be a pretty important one. And you realize, you know, all these guys that are sort of in the military, these are not guys that are they're more like strong in their brain than they are by brawn. Like most of them are kind of like school teachers. I found, you know, kind of like nerdy, like weird, you know, small, looking frail guys, almost kind of like me, I suppose. But they do like the most dangerous, crazy job, and it was great to really get into their head and their understanding of who they are, why they do what they do, and then you go into combat and what that's about. And we were filming that film during combat in the Iraq War, and we were filming on the border of Iraq. So it was more real than I needed to be. But we were just actors, we had no bullets, and we were getting shot at, so that sucked. We kind of wish we just give me a grenade or something, so I can do that kind of stuff. But it was really, and also, the conditions, you know, you realize, like it's hot here in Texas, right? But it's you know, it's about 35 there, you know? I don't know if like it's about 35 here, and then a 100-pound bomb suit. So I remember like we have, you know, as 8 actors, we put on makeup, we just put our hands in the sand, and just do that, and we're getting ready.
So what you're saying is Hollywood is not all this is that.
No. And also, if you want to get away from the flies, just go to where all the food is, because the flies won't even go by the food. So that's how we fly free. You know?
The fact that that's a problem that you guys have on set blows my mind.
Yeah, there's no glamour in this, but you know, there's a lot of glory that came from it, and that movie means so much, I think, to so many people, but especially Kathy Bigelow. That's the first female director that ever won an Academy Award for Best Director. Right? Really good for cheering on that one, and really deserved. And it happened to be that year against her husband, who did Avatar, the biggest grossing movie of all time, and we were like the lowest grossing Academy Award nominated movie of all time, and she won, and I love it. And it's a better film anyway, you know, I'm just gonna say, Avatar.
James has enough.
I know, that guy's got enough.
He doesn't need any more.
That's right.
Let's talk about the Mission Impossible franchise. You've been part of a handful of those films. What was it like stepping into such a high-octane global franchise, and what did you take away from working alongside Legend and Tom Cruise?
Yeah, Tom, that was, those movies are just cool anyway. It's not as fantasy as, like, say, a Marvel movie or any of those, but it feels so fantasy-like, because we're like in Burj Khalifa or the Burj Protocol, and him swinging around that building like a crazy man. And he taught me how to approach action films. This was early in my sort of action sort of career, how to approach it like a professional athlete in a sport, and preparation of the body, because you do have to prepare physically very intensely so you don't get injured. I think the most dangerous thing that you could ever do on the film is just running, because you could roll your ankle pretty easily and then you're shutting down production just by running. Everything else is very prepared for you, like if you're in any sort of situation, but he's a great guy to, and a guy to have a mentor to show you the ropes of stunt world, for sure.
Okay, so speaking of running, Tom, is the joke is that he's just the best like on-screen runner in the history. Like, what is it about Tom and his form? Did he tell you anything about that, or what is it that makes him so like awe-inspiring?
Yeah, I don't think it's just about the running. You know, I get it that he does run like in pretty much but before that, it's sort of his drive. He's got a strong drive to want to entertain and keep things exciting and whatever it might be. If running is exciting, and he's going to run. But you know, if it's not appropriate, like if he was doing a scene with me and he just started sprinting, I'm like, I choke him or something. I'm like, I'm not running after you. I'm not going to happen. That's your nap. So, but no, he cares about really entertaining audiences. He cares about that. Like, we have to do, I think, a running scene together in Post Protocol, I think, or one of the two. And so we're sprinting alongside each other and headed. But I remember it's not going as fast as you think it is. We have to look like we're running fast, and it's going slow because the ground is really uneven and pretty dangerous for us to get injured. So we have to really just look like we're running fast, but we're really like this, you know, we're not running fast.
Rudy Magic. Can you talk about this small role that you had over the last decade or so called Hawkeye?
Oh, yeah. I don't die in that one. Actually, I'm not dead in that one.
I think they're fans of your work with Hawkeye. Let's stick with a couple of more recent projects in the MCU. So, the opening scene of Endgame, one of my all-time favorites in the MCU, if not just like cinema. Clint goes to this dark phase as Roman. You lost your family, your wife and kids in that opening sequence.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I've watched thousands of movies with live audience. I don't think I've ever heard an audience response to Clint turning and not seeing his daughter when she gets snapped away. Like the gasp of jaws, you heard everybody's jaw before. And that was truly just a great moment. Clint was you were also portraying a grief-stricken, more ambiguous version of Clint. Can you shed some light on just that whole creative process of getting to that mindset of Clint losing his family and going on with the vision on his own?
Yeah, you know, that scene was supposed to be at the end of, what was the one before? Infinity War. I don't know, I wasn't in it. It was supposed to be at the end of it. It was supposed to be at the end of Infinity War, and then it goes into Ronin land. But then it didn't work. It just bookended this whole thing. With a lot of things happened in Endgame, you guys. A lot of things. I can really remind myself. So yeah, Ronin. Yes, so Ronin comes into play because of what happened to his family, and yeah, the one was okay. 2017. And haircut, right? You took a haircut going on.
It was a great haircut, right?
It's I love there's only one scene we showed in the Ronin, so it had to come in with a lot of force. Got to work with a really tremendous legend actor in that scene, but it's just sort of it's just kind of the tail end of the Ronin run of just sort of vengeance, being reactive to what's happened instead of being it's sort of the dark side of Barton is just Ronin, right? Instead of the light side of being more heroic. That's how I sort of play it. It's still the same person. It's just in a different costume, and it's expressing a negative side of him. It's just, he's only killing bad guys still, but he's killing them, right? So it's not the right way. It's sort of justified, and that's when the Scarlet steps in and says, come back to this side, let's get some stuff done. But it's a lot going on in that movie, man. It's a lot going on.
Speaking of Scarlet, the most emotional moment of the film by far is the mission to obtain the Soul Stone on Vormir with Natasha. The scene was obviously script on how it would all go down and what those scenes ended you personally.
Yeah, that, you don't really kind of notice stuff going right straight away, but then there's whisperings of it, and then the scene is written, and then you're like, okay, we shot the scene. That scene's not in the movie. It's a very different scene. There's much more galactic and more aliens and a lot of more stuff going on. And then we reshot it to make it much simpler to the scene that's in the movie now. It's much more emotional, much more impactful, I think. It's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to do that scene. It was a celebration also, like, it's like saying goodbye to somebody and saying, it's like, there's 22 films before this that made this scene happen, right? So there's such a great celebration as well as a very, very emotional. It's like, I think it started stuff back, one of the last scenes anyway. Pretty emotional time, a lot of years have gone by and shared stories and life shared. So it was, I don't know, it was pretty real enough for us to kind of feel it in that scene. That was beautiful, very shared.
And we loved it, right? We're not done with Hawkeye yet. After that came the Hawkeye series. Any fans? The series brought together a stellar cast during the holidays. There for me, Tony Dalton, who I absolutely love, Vincent D'Onofrio, Lachlan Cox, and of course, your protege, Haley Steinfeld. What are some of your fondest memories on working on that project?
The cast, for sure. I mean, we shot this during, the height of COVID too, so it was pretty trippy. Everyone was like in 3 different masks, 25 feet apart. It was like super, it was weird. But, the actors had to see the actors, and there was just some people a lot. And I don't know anybody else actually was on the show because it was like hidden. But it was great to, the script, when I saw the opening and the Avengers musical thing, wow, this is great. I love this show already. It's set in New York, that Christmas is kind of no better setting, beautiful. I love the family element to it. We got to spend a little bit more time with Clint being the dad. It's kind of the dad of the Marvel universe in a lot of ways anyway, just sort of grounding rod for why we fight for what we fight for anyway. It was nice to be able to explore that. It was tough to, in all the adventure films, to kind of get into a lot of that and touch on it. It was great to really explore that with family, and I enjoyed it. There's a great sense of humor to it, good action. I love it, man. We're going to go back and again.
We got a ton of fan questions. First one comes from Jake Welch. Jake, where you at, my friend? Too many people here. I can't see you.
Into the back.
This thing goes along with the series.
It does.
Yeah, Jake wants to know, how was it working with Haley on the set of Hawkeye?
She's so great. The kind of the relationship that we had off camera was similar to the setup of how it was on camera, but as far as like me being sort of MCU for so long, it kind of gave us some hints and tips to spend some time in the gym with stunt people, saw the role that we need to do. And she's great, man. She's a hard worker. She's so charming. She's lovely to work with. She's the best. I love her.
She's so talented. Like, if you didn't already know in your series, that she's gone from Sinners and a number of other things. She's incredible.
Yeah, she's really good. She's been great since she was a child. Yeah.
We have another question here from Alexandra. I'm assuming there's probably multiple Alexandras here questions. What was the hardest scene for you to film?
In life, in my career.
That's a long
Oh my goodness, hardest scene. Well, the one that popped out is they didn't have to do much besides not die. And it was the Burj Khalifa scene where I had to hang out the window and hang out of Tom's foot. It was only difficult because I didn't trust the guy holding me. He was on his phone, right? And I'm like sliding out of this window, I could have made 10 phone calls before I hit the ground. And I blamed the guy that was holding me. He didn't hold me very well. I'm about to hit the ground in about a couple minutes. But yeah, it was the most, well, also because everyone's like tied to something because the window's taken out of this, you're like a mile high in the air. And then there's a vacuum of wind that could suck you out anyway. And I'm in slacks on a tile floor. So I'm just getting sucked out as we go anyway. And the guy was on his phone, just holding with a rope attached to my glove. I'm like, dude. He's playing Angry Birds or something. And
Get a question here from Omar. Omar, where you at, sir? Right over here. Omar wants to know, what is your funniest moment while working on set?
I mean, it's funny now what I just said, but not funny then. Oh, I don't know, man. I feel like there's fun at every turn. Even like on a heavy show like Renner Panel, we always find joy in what we're doing. It's fun. I can't make the week for a living, right? So every day is fun. Some scenes aren't as fun or light or whatever, but I always find joy and always remind myself that I play make believe for a living, like an 8-year-old on a playground. Every day is fun.
You do so well.
I enjoy it.
No question here, but it's regarding your film Arrival. Any fans of Arrival? In the film Arrival, Amy's character asks you if you could see your whole life from start to finish, what things would you change? Your character replies, I'd say what I feel wrong. Do you agree? And would your answer be different?
Well, I mean, ironically, that did happen to me. And I think the outcome of it is just that. I find myself, having that experience, coming back and being more connected, being more open, being more vulnerable, and this freeing, glorious love that I could share with myself, my daughter, my family, and everyone around me. So happy to be here. Yes.
I started it. We're all
Get
going to buy a copy today or go listen to the audio. Right, guys? This question is kind of about that. After your accident, how did you find the strength to keep going? How do you think fans could, despite the hurdles in their own lives? This is from Destiny. Destiny, where are you at?
Yeah, those are things I try to explore. There's no easy answer to it. I feel like there's first and foremost for me, personally, there was a lot to live for. Even though I didn't want to come back, there was actually a lot to live for. My family, my daughter, all these things. And then you realize there's a lot of love, there's a lot of prayers for you as I was in a coma. Didn't know, but then it became some global sort of news story. It just happened on my driveway while being my nephew. It was me against the snow cat and I lost. And but to find the strength, I think it required a village. And it required so much. It required my own strength, my own reasons to live, to survive. But there's other things that were at play that helped me along. Probably 150 people just on the day of the accident to be able to survive, from the EMTs to the helicopter pilots to all the trauma nurses and ICU doctors, and it was just an army of people to get me to not die. Okay, so the strength was I feel like it was given to me by a bunch of people, and I guess that isn't my time to go. So it was my honor, my duty to be better for all those that didn't let me go. So I have do the best I can with every moment, every breath, and every step to have a very purposeful and intended life. To give is all and everything I can. And this is what we do so.
Starting the book and hearing about you describe some of the elements of the entire ordeal, I feel like they gave you a chance, and it was really also your own willpower after that to kind of come back and be kind of as close to yourself as possible. Seeing you here now, you talk and everything else, I would never know that had gone on. I think they give you an amazing opportunity, and it was a miraculous situation, but also a long recovery process after that. I think that's all you, man. I don't know how anybody else thinks about that.
There's the recovery. It's not. There's a ripple effect to something that happens, right? A lot of people can relate to adversity. A lot of people can relate to obstacles, because we're always going to have those in our lives, and how we choose to overcome our own personal obstacles will determine how much more room and space we make for joy and love and happiness, right? But we're all going to have some sort of suffering. And we're all going to have these obstacles in our lives, and how we choose to deal with them is really, really important. So I think that it's not about, an injury so much, but, I focused on my family getting better. I saw the horror look on their faces when they look at me with my eyeball duct tape inside my head, and it's terrible, right? But what can I do to relieve them of this terrible feeling? Because they're feeling it too. I wouldn't want to be in their position. So I relieve myself in trying to get better for me. It's like I have to be better for them. And so it was easy because it was a one-way street. Either get better, or what's the alternative? Suffer? Moan, right, complain. I just had to get better every day. Now, I wasn't like trying to think I'm going to walk the next moment, but maybe I just moved my elbow a little bit more. It's like I set sort of intended milestones for myself, just to keep going and stay positive. If you don't stay positive, I don't stay moving forward, what's going to happen? No matter how many people love me, they're not going to fix me. I have to. So it was kind of easy just setting the course for there's no going back. There's only one thing to do is getting effing better for my family. And it's like I have to remind myself of this lesson. I got tested to my limits, but in doing so, there's been great superpower gifts that came to me for it. And if people can relate to it, which I hope they can take something from it. They don't have to get tested like I was to get some of the gifts, and that's kind of right where the book is.
I think we nailed that. You guys take it any way from you just said? We have another question from Hannah from Dallas, Texas. Hannah, where are you at?
Dallas, Texas.
Good back there. Number one, she says you're her favorite.
Because I'm here?
Number two, she says, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given, and how has that advice shaped your life or career?
Well, the piece of advice actually made me find my career. My dad, when I was going to college, I couldn't afford, nor could he, nor could my mom, nor could anyone in my family, or to get me to go to Berkeley or some of these schools I was getting that I was allowed to go to. And also didn't know what I was going to study, so I said to my dad, I don't want to go into student debt and pay for all this money and not know what I'm paying for. So he said, just go to the local junior college and take XYZ kind of courses, 3 classes to transfer to a further school. But then he said, just go try a bunch of other things and go fail. He encouraged me to go fail. What he meant by that is just, so I'm a guy that kind of likes to excel at everything I do, at 4.0 GPA. I was just a guy that's always trying to do the best I can at everything, but he just allowed me to just try stuff that I wasn't interested in or didn't know, and just try it. And then it's okay to go suck at it. And just go try things. Yeah, who cares? Or just go try things. Really didn't care. So I did. I took not only 9 units in the apps, I took 26 units at the local junior college. And one of the courses was an acting class. I knew nothing about acting, like zero. Also, I was watching a show called Family Ties or whatever I was watching in the 90s, right? And I took the course and then I fell in love with it and then chose acting as a career and it kind of worked out all right. Yeah. Thanks, Dad. I'm very grateful.
I think more parents of this sort of era or this generation also need to kind of hear that because there's so much pressure in this.
Yeah.
Either be something, have a plan, have future things involved in your life, but not walk in or something like just try something out, see what happens.
Right. It really allows you to kind of define yourself. And it's a confidence builder too, right? How much confidence I got out of finding that on my own. He was very surprised, by the way, when I told him I found what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. He's like, get out of here. You're only 18. I'm like, I promise you. And yeah, but it's also too like the idea of our failures. Like, my greatest successes are all my failures. All the things I failed at. Those are the greatest things that happened to me. Not like winning something, not succeeding at something. The greatest life lessons are all those failures. Great.
Okay, clap for that. This might take you back a little bit. Rob, where you at, Rob? Over here in the comments. Has all of your success made up for going to the second best high school in Desco? Hashtag big fools. The fact that you waited this long to ask this question and keep this rivalry going is that's
yeah, Davis High School, yeah, last high school. I don't say virus. I don't know. It's funny. 1989. Yeah.
What about class of 89?
Class of 89. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That is a let's see here. You've had a number of fancy arrows as Hawkeye. Is there a personal favorite of yours that you have?
Well, we got to explore a lot of those in the series, and not so much. We did some of them in the films, but we got to explore a lot of fun ones in the series. And I thought like, oh, I can get really creative with these. So favorite one. Just because Elizabeth is here, I think maybe the one I use on her.
You use my hand, right?
Yeah, pull it out and stop it, yeah. Go to Peter with it. Sorry, girl.
This one from, let's see, I'm sorry, Tony Clark? Jill, where? How good have you gotten at archery on the line?
It's ironic. I got actually really good, and then you could use none of these skills in any of the movies. Real archery does not allow for Hawkeye to succeed. It's too slow. You can't shoot multiple arrows, but the skill set is actually really, really great, and I'm able to use it. I teach kids at camps that I have, and so it's still a really cool skill set. It just doesn't look like a superhero archery. And you can't shoot arrows anyway, so it's got to go somewhere. And I'd be killing a whole lot of crew members. Just when I close that. So it's all CGI arrows I'm pulling out, right?
It always looks so effortless because it is all CGI. So you're just sometimes there. I remember for the first event, you're talking to somebody and you're just going and you're just looking around and it's like, you aren't even trying, those aren't real. Something like that. Hollywood magic.
Yeah. Or if they're real arrows, you see all these people dying.
You brought up the cats, and I think it's a great place to go next. Because you have your own foundation, and I think everybody would love to learn about about what you're doing.
Yeah, the opportunity, it's always something I've been wanting to do ever since Endgame came out, because that's when kids, I was dropping off my daughter, who was 5 at the time, in kindergarten class, for the first time, and at the school, and Endgame had just came out, And I dropped her off very nervously in the little trailer, and I came down the trailer, and people were screaming, that's Jerry Renner. I'm like, dude, there's like 7-year-olds on this little campus. How do they know my first and last name? It's so weird. And then like 30 kids come running at me with cell phones, like zombies. I'm like, oh my God, it's terrifying. Jerry Renner. So I said, I grabbed the oldest kid, like, get her number, there's 1-7, and get back in the classroom before the second bell comes. I'm gonna get locked on campus. And I said, and I went home and I was like so freaked out. Like, why all these little kids need my first and last name? And maybe how can I do it say anything, right? No, they're saying my first and last name. Strange. But then I realized there's a real, like, I didn't like being a celebrity prior, but being a celebrity to kids was the coolest thing ever. I realized there was a huge weight that was lifted off my shoulders. I'm like, wow, that was really the coolest thing ever. And ever since then, having access to kids, being the oldest of 7 in my own family, and birthing a couple and having my own, it's just the coolest thing ever. So then, my sister works for DCFS, Child Protective Services, in LA County, and my best girlfriend does it in Nevada. So I've been around foster kids for, a decade or so. And I really hated the narrative and stories that were happening to these kids. And I was really, really angry what was happening to them. And instead of getting angry and wanting to hurt people that were hurting these kids, I decided to do something instead of being reactive and be proactive. I started a foundation to give them opportunities, the love, the kindness, and even some of them as they age out of foster care, some housing and vehicles, some wraparound services with financial literacy, just to, some mentorship, things like that to move the needle along and pave the way for some of these kids that have been marginalized and set aside. And I love them to death. 400,000 kids in the foster care system today, and I intend to reach each and every one. And being a member helps a little bit, right? It does. It does help a little bit.
That's remarkable. I love hearing that.
Yeah, my whole family gets involved too, so it makes it like something that we can all do together. So there's real, this is like something I'm doing for the rest of my life. So it's an honor and blessing to do so. And I'm really glad to do it with my family. And my daughter gets involved, she wants to be a counselor, and it's really, really good. I'm blessed to be able to do it.
And because we are all moved by your work in philanthropy, where can every single one of these folks find out more about it and how can they assist?
Oh, wow. I mean, there's a Renovation Foundation, on Instagram, and things you can follow, and you'll want to come help out. It's always great. I always love volunteers. You get a lot of showing and every event we come go to. But I always love volunteers and assistants. It's a great thing.
You're also a musician.
They do music? Yeah.
Sandra Jones, where are you, Sandra? She's standing up there.
Hi.
She would like to know, are you going to make another music album?
Yes, of course. I'll always make music. It's just the time, time, it's a human construct. It's still human. I gotta live by it, and I have to heal. I gotta do other things first, and then I'll find time for it. It's a huge part of my life, and it always will be.
Speaking of singing, do you have a go-to favorite karaoke song? This is from Karina. Karina, where are you at?
Oh, we did that. We karaoke so much. At New York State, mine was a good one. I did a lot. We had Billy Joel and Queen. I listened to a lot of Queen. A lot of well, I do something easy.
It's funny, Billy was here literally a year ago in town performing, and he's still got
He's awesome.
He's incredible.
He's so great.
And he's like up and dancing, like, I don't think he knows how old he is. You're not supposed to move like that at that age. Final question about some of your other work. You have a new season 4 premiere of Mayor Peacetime.
Yeah.
Bro, the premiere is tomorrow. What can you share with us about the new season?
Yeah, it starts tomorrow. I just watched some of the scenes on the way over here. This is a New director and press for it this week. And yeah, it is something. It's an intense show. It's not for everyone. It's not for the youth, but it's really okay this season. Very, very excited. Got some new characters. Dean Falco, she's a terrific actress. She's new to it, but it's an intense season. You're not gonna want to miss a moment. So if you really rush your, there's no pause on it. Because in 2 minutes every turn, something's on the line. It's a book. It'd be a page turn for sure.
I love it. You guys ready for tomorrow? We are just about out of time, but all these beautiful faces are going to come see you at your table, I'm sure. And the last thing I want to say is, you are an award-winning actor, producer, musician, but most importantly, you are a beacon of hope. Your story is one of resilience, a true depiction of the human spirit. We thank you for sharing your story with us, and know that I feel your legacy will continue to inspire many.